It's sort of the state of digital currency. It's actually, my talk is actually a little bit more focused. It's virtual goods and cryptos. My name is William Quigley. I'm the CEO of Opskins, and I'd like to begin my discussion by discussing an issue I think we all are very aware of when it comes to cryptocurrencies. And that issue is, where are the customers? Where are the consumers? The reason that we don't see the consumers is because of an issue we've all heard of as well. That is, what is the consumer use case? For cryptos to be transformative, they have to become an important part of everyday people's lives and everyday uses. The people we are building these systems for, the reason why we're all gathered here today, is how do we get consumers to ultimately embrace something that's quite technical, often clumsy to use? Well, getting people excited and getting people to know how to adopt something that almost is, it's difficult for most to understand, is something that I happen to have spent a lot of time doing. I began my career at the Walt Disney Company. I have spent about 20 years working in various capacities in the consumer products market. I've worked with some transformative, big consumer products companies. I've also spent a lot of time in the cryptocurrency space. I say that because when trying to determine how you can find a market or an ability to get a group of consumers to embrace something, I've developed an approach. Really is 4 specific areas. The first is to identify when a consumer is frustrated, a market where they are struggling to learn how to use the product is inconvenient, the product is expensive. That's the table stakes. Are there a bunch of consumers doing something and they wish there was a better solution? If it's a very big market, even better. A global business helps a lot too. And relevant to all of us here today is that consumer product or service digital in nature. These 4 ways of looking at the consumer market is how I, as a consumer venture capitalist and someone who's built a lot of consumer companies, how I begin to determine if there's a market opportunity and how I could enhance it. As I said, my name is William Quigley. I'm in the skin selling business. The very first thing individuals do after they're born and they recognize the self is they want to stand out. They want other people to notice them. And one of the ways we do that is we personalize our very skin. Don't worry, this is not the tattoo coin. Any unique marker we can put on ourselves to become more distinctive is a way for us to stand out in a crowd. That provides a social status. It provides a distinctive look. It turns out, in the virtual world, in the digital world, gamers feel the same way. Video gamers like to personalize themselves. They do that, for instance, by putting on a trench coat. That one, by the way, will cost you $500. Anytime a CSGO player picks up a standard issue rifle, the first thing that guy thinks of is, how can I make this mine? How can I show people that this one is unique? And the way they do it, that's the very same rifle, is they put a skin on it. Think of it as a digital paint job you put on any item you have in a game to make it distinctive. At Opskins, we specialize as a marketplace in allowing people to visually merchandise these digital objects. And as I said, the reason these skins are so important to people are for the reasons listed here. Social status, you have a unique object. And it truly is unique. No one else has it. They're collectible, they're unique. And ultimately, these have become, in the last 5 years, incredibly valuable. That skin for that Dragon Lore rifle will cost you 9 Bitcoin. And that is by no means the most expensive of the items that we have on our site. And when people get these, when people finally win one of these, they get excited. And if there was any sound here, what you would be hearing is a guy screaming because he just won about a $30,000 rifle. A lot of you probably have some of the same reactions when you get 3 Litecoin. Just kidding. So at OpSkins, as I said, we are a marketplace for these virtual items. We're the largest in the world. We conduct about 2 million purchases a week of these sorts of skins. We serve an audience of about 400 million. My team and I have been doing this for about 20 years. Before skins in video games, there was something called virtual items. The most important difference between a virtual item, which most of you have probably heard of, and a skin is that skins are unique, and skins are also tradable. So how do you build the world's largest skin marketplace? And before that, the largest virtual goods marketplace? Well, you focus on these things. Visual merchandising, rapid fulfillment, those are very hard to do. But the 2 toughest challenges we face are things everyone in this room is already familiar with: banking and security. Both of those in the fiat world are very difficult when you're addressing a global audience. So, we've been focusing on how to improve this process. One of the things that is the nature of a centralized marketplace, which is what we are, is we are ultimately the arbiters of who can buy and sell on the platform. Good for us, not necessarily the best for everybody else. Just like in the real world, theft, identity theft, fraud, all of these are very significant problems in the skin world because they're digital items and they can be traded and they're difficult to trace. Things, once again, that I think all of us in this room have heard about. And for us, we have millions of customers, and yet there's 400 million globally. It's hard for us to reach all of them. So about a year ago, we came up with an idea, and that was to look at the crypto markets, look at the technologies that are available, and see if we could improve what we've already done. The first thing we did, of course, was we rolled out Bitcoin. And for all the articles you've read and for all the ones I've read saying consumers don't want to use cryptos, it's not true. They will use them when the use case is correct. Most of our transactions, roughly 90%, are cross-border. Most of them are under $20. To try to move small payments cross-border without getting clobbered by fees and without dealing with currency conversion is a very, very hard problem to solve. Bitcoin is one of them. Our consumers have embraced it. But ultimately, it's not enough. And the next phase for us is building a decentralized marketplace. One that brings the security of blockchain, smart contracts, liquidity by accessing a global pool, a global supply pool, and of course, serves the ecosystem. There are tens of thousands of small companies that facilitate the buying and selling of the global skin economy. So as we've gazed ahead and contemplated what we can do here, we've decided this market at $50 billion, very attractive today, will become multiples bigger if we could provide an access point for a lot more people to list their items, to trade them without the worries of fraud and counterparty risk. One of the reasons this is so important is because, now let me go back a sec, if I can. For us, this is the most important part of what we're trying to do. There are 400 million people who trade skins, digital items, cross-border, small payment transactions typically, all the sorts of things that the crypto space has been trying to solve. There are 4 million active wallets, 4 million consumers who actively use their wallets for e-commerce. By shifting the 400 million skin traders into cryptos, we think we can ignite a massive consumer market for cryptocurrencies. And so we've developed a solution. That solution is called Wax. You can read about it and learn about it more at waxtoken.com. Thank you.